Well, all right. Good morning and welcome to the broadcast. Thank you very much for keeping us company. It is a new month, first day of November 2023. And we are so glad that you've chosen us to start us off for your new month of November. My name is Cynthia Nanjala. You are watching Morning Live, your one-stop shop newspaper review show, as well as conversations that are close to your heart because we do care. And for the next 1 hour, 30 minutes, do keep me company. We'll be bringing you up to speed on what is happening across the country, from the counties to the newspapers, who is making headlines and why. And of course, later on, we'll be having a conversation with the General Manager of Optiven Global Office, that is Joe Orlando. What you need to know about buying land, or just before you purchase land, what are some of the nitty-gritties and details that you must have so that you can ensure 10 years down the line, no one comes to evict you from your home. So your feedback will be highly appreciated. Our SMS line is open 23059. Watch this broadcast live across our social media platforms, on Facebook on EBN TV, as well as on YouTube on EBN TV. You can tag me at Cynthia Nanjala so that we can get your feedback in studio as fast as we can. Questions, of course, will be very important. What you need to know, what you've always wanted to know about Optiven, who are one of the organizers or organizations that actually deal directly with land purchases. So that is the conversation for later. But how about you get started on just what is making headlines across the country? Now, King Charles III from Britain landed on Tuesday in Kenya, and the arrival comes ahead of a 4-day state visit. The visit is aimed at celebrating the warm relationship between the two countries and the strong dynamic partnership they continue to forge between the two states. Dennis Toromo has that report.
Britain's tarnished colonial past took center stage in Kenya on Tuesday as King Charles began a 4-day state visit, poised to acknowledge painful aspects of the country's long shared history as local leaders press demand for their reparations.
Which will be followed by a laying of wreaths at the tomb of the unknown warrior. The laying of wreaths shall be preceded by the last posts, 1 minute of silence, and the last volley. Now the unveiling of the commemorative plaque.
The king was accompanied by Queen Camilla and was welcomed to Presidential Palace by 21-gun salute and a guard of honor, and accompanied by President William Ruto, where they planted trees in the palace ground. The royal couple then laid a wreath at the tomb of the unknown warriors in Uhuru Gardens, where Kenya was declared independent in December 1963. The visit is aimed at celebrating the warm relationship between the forge of the two countries and the strong dynamic partnership they continue to share. The king and the queen will visit Nairobi City County, Mombasa County, and the surrounding areas. Their program will also reflect on how Kenya and the United Kingdom are working together to boost their mutual prosperity, tackling climate change, promote youth opportunity and employment, advance sustainable development, and create a more sustainable and secure region. Many citizens of the former British colonies, including leaders of Kenya's Nandi people, want King Charles to go further by directly apologizing and endorsing reparation for colonial-era abuses, including torture, killings, and widespread exploration of land, much of which remains in the British hands.
Rudiana sasa na family wa King Charles na government of British ndio watambue, ndio wale waliua kwa telesomoe, ndio sasa the family of telesomoe can benefit from the scholarship, from the employment, and our national government can be able to talk to British government. Let us help telesomoe children to get free scholarship, to get employment in UK.
Should have a discussion around that particular issue so that if the colonialists who actually killed Mzee took the skull, they should be able to release the skull and bring it back so that these people can be rest assured and the family can be rest assured that the Mzee has rested.
We have forgotten the people who had the longest resistance, who are documented as having fought the British with crude weapons, with skill, without the use of guns, and they were able to actually resist for that long.
The United Kingdom government had previously expressed their regrets for those abuses and agreed a £20 million settlement in 2013. Toromo Dennis, EBN TV, Prime Edition.
And of course, later on, there was a state banquet in honor of the royal family that was happening late last evening, where various leaders from across various political divides, including the opposition, attended. And of course, also stakeholders just within the country as well attended that state banquet that was held in honor of the royal family, who will today now be on their second day visit in the country. They're expected not only to just be in Nairobi, but also in Mombasa. And well, that has has basically made it to the newspaper, so we'll be telling you more about that in just a bit. Now let's switch off to the Senate, where the Senate Speaker Amason Kingi has formally read out impeachment allegations against Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza. And the Speaker on Tuesday read out charges filed against the governor and evidence adduced by the Meru County Assembly in support of the impeachment motion against him. The governor was impeached last Wednesday, where 59 of the 69 MCAs present voted in favor of the impeachment. Now, the Assembly submitted a copy of the notice of the motion of proposal to impeach her from office. They also submitted orders of papers for the County Assembly sittings, as well as copies of certified signatures of the MCAs in support of the impeachment motion.
From office of the Governor of Meru County and pursuant to Standing Order 82, to report to the Senate within 10 days of its appointment, and on whether or not it finds the particulars of the allegations against the governor to have been substantiated. While moving this motion, I'm cognizant of the fact that an impeachment process is a process that will determine the future of an individual.
Whether we should make available both choices for the House, and in fact, in the wisdom of the chair, you rule that this is a choice for this House, that both of those choices must be put before the members, let the debate ensue, and people convince each other as to why one is better than the other. Mr. Speaker, I also have the benefit of having been a member in the last impeachment process of Governor Kawira. That committee was very ably led by my colleague from Kakamega, Senator Khalwale. Mr. Speaker, I have come to be convinced that in fact the committee way is the best way when it comes to impeachment of governor, and I'll give the reasons as to my position.
And I cannot state a single reason. They say no process is better, but the committee is better. Mr. Speaker, barely 1 year since Governor of Meru, Governor Kawira Mwangaza, appeared before the Senate on an impeachment motion, she is back again. And Mr. Speaker, the day that it was ruled in the County Assembly of Meru that the governor had been impeached, headlines were flowing. The conversation was national. And Mr. Speaker, such a matter that has elicited such interest, such national interest, it is proper as a House that we make the decision to have the plenary process, because it is more transparent, it is more inclusive. Kenyans want to know what is happening in Meru.
Now, Principal Secretary for Education Belio Kipsang has instructed security organs to take action on whoever was culpable of the death of 5 students of Arap Moi Primary School, who drowned just a day before the exams. Belio, who visited the school in Uasin Gishu County and was also at Hill School Primary, said there was negligence on the teachers who accompanied the students, saying investigations are underway. Uasin Gishu County Commissioner Edison Nyale said they have contained the situation as investigations begin, and 3 persons have already been arrested.
From what I have seen today, I think we've been quite successful. I've been engaging with my regional directors across the country. I know there was quite some rain in Marsabit, and we did mobilize adequate helicopters. I know in the morning there was also fairly some mist, which could have delayed a few things, but all has gone on well in Marsabit, in Isiolo. We have done fairly well in those particular counties where we were worried that we would be compromised by the amount of rains that is there already. Across the country, I can say it has gone well. all leadership of this country has participated in this exercise and this. At the regional and the county level, we've been led by our regional commissioners and our county commissioners, coordinating the deputy county commissioners, our county directors of education, our regional directors, both of education and teacher management. They have all been out there making sure that our children are given the best of care as they sit for the examination. This morning, I also had an opportunity of visiting Arap Moi Primary School in Ainapkoi, which, as we are all aware, were affected by an accident where we lost 5 children. The one kid who was in grade 6 and who was taken to ICU was discharged yesterday and was available in school today to do the examinations. As mentioned also in the morning, we did guide all our officials that all children who are expected to do the examination must be allowed to do the exam. We are aware there are a few teachers who are careless and may not have registered the students for the examinations, which is a serious offense, and investigations are ongoing, and those who are culpable of not registering our children will be dealt with in accordance with the law. But what we have guided is that let's give an opportunity to all our children to do the examination. As we are all aware, this is the last KCPE exam, and therefore there is no way we can allow our children to be disadvantaged because of carelessness of adults and those who are supposed to have done their job and they failed to do it. And that's why we didn't want to punish the children for mistakes which are not of their making. We shall deal with those who have who did take children into that direction, but we are ensuring that every child is given an opportunity to do the examination. We are hoping that as we go into the second day tomorrow, that all will be well. Again, we shall be available across the country to ensure that we give support to our children. So I think to that extent, on issue security, the Regional Commissioner for Rift Valley this morning assured us that the challenges that we have had in North Rift and particularly in Baringo have been handled. And generally on Saturday, my colleague, the PS for Interior and National Administration, also gave us the assurance that they are properly deployed and that our children, and we have seen it today, would be able to sit for the examination.
With regard to that, what we have come up with is that in addition to the arrest that we made, we are coming with a plan of having a security assessment of the entire facility so that we can advise and where appropriately or where complied on or complied upon, then will be reopened. Otherwise, so far so good, and I'm happy that we managed to handle the situation amicably, and the students are relaxed, happy doing the exam.
Now, 3 politicians from the north were questioned at the Rift Valley Regional DCI headquarters in Nakuru City over their alleged involvement in the recent spate of violence witnessed in Baringo and Samburu counties. The trio, Tiati MP William Kamket, Sigor MP Peter Lochakapong, and West Pokot County Senator Julius Murgor, were questioned over the alleged political rallies and utterances they have made about the state of security in Baringo and the rest of operations in the north. The 3 are reported to have denied incitement claims leveled against them and any involvement in the ambush of a GSU camp and a primary school in Kapindasum in Baringo County.
Lakini kwa ukweli hii ni fitina ambayo inaendelezwa na majirani wetu, ambayo tumejua kwamba pia hata hawajakuja kurekodi statement, na sisi tulikuwa tunasema tu ile ambayo wananchi wanatuuliza.
Tumekuja kuwa surprise na maneno hapa ya videos ati sijui tuliongea tukiwa wapi. Nimewaeleza hawa maafisa kwamba mimi ni bishop wa amani. Ile tunasema tu ni kwamba hii maneno ya boundaries ambayo tunasema kila wakati imefika wa kuaddress maneno ya boundaries. Kwa mfano, kama mbunge wa Tiaty tuko na shida kwa boundary yetu na Turkana East.
Na nimekuja hapa leo kuandikisha taarifa ama habari juu ya yale ambayo yanaonekana nilikosea kwa upande wa security, kwa vile hawa watu wa CID waliona. Lakini ukweli ni kwamba kilio cha Wapokot wawe katika Kapenguria constituency, West Pokot, na wawe katika upande wa Tiaty imekuwa kilio.
Now, over 25,000 distraught Njeru residents ordered to vacate at the vast property following a suit by politician Gerishon Kirima's family have returned to court to seek a review of that particular judgment. They're expected to have moved out by December 31st of 2023. In the fresh pleading filed by 3 lawyers led by Duncan Okach, the squatters now claim that the Kirima family withheld crucial information as to who is the true owner of the disputed 1,000 acres piece of land in Eastlands. The squatters are also seeking orders to permit administrators of former Italian settler Domenico De Masi, who's deceased, to be enjoined in the fresh application seeking a review of the judgment. The squatters are also urging the court to suspend the execution of the judgment of Justice Samson Okongo that was issued on October 23rd, requiring all the illegal occupants in the Kirima land to quit that land by December 31st, failure to which their houses will be demolished.
I'm here with Member of Parliament for Kasarani constituency. I'm also here with a battery of advocates. I'm here with Advocate Duncan Okach. I'm here with Advocate Wandaru. I'm here with Advocate Madenge. So today we've come to file an application, and we've come in matter concerning the purported Kirima land. And we've come here to prove to the court that this said parcel of land does not belong to the Kirima's family, but belongs to one Domenico De Masi, and the person who is in charge as we speak is called Bernardo De Masi. And as we've come here now, we've come to file an application and to get stay orders so that our constituents can be safe. We have come here upon instruction.
Huku ilikuwa kiwanja. Ulikuwa ukisimama hapa unaona mpaka kule Njiru. Huku tumeishi mpaka na mafisi tukianza. Hawa wananchi wote wenye unaona wako nyuma yangu ndio wamefanya hii area inakaa namna hii. Na mnaweza sema maybe hawa watu wako na pesa. Hizi nyumba zimejengwa na malon. Kuna watu wamechukua maloni kwa hizi manyumba wamejenga hizi nyumba. Kuna watu wamepoteza kazi siku za COVID wako hapa. Kuna watu wamefariki, wazee wamekufa, wameacha wajane hapa na watoto.
Mimi si mzazi, mamangu, babangu alituacha. Tulikuja huku 2016. Babangu alituacha mamangu na watoto, tuko watoto 12. Mimi ndio firstborn na mimi peke yangu ndo nimemaliza university. The rest bado hajamaliza. So whatever the government will decide, ama Kenya itaamua, wasituumize sana. Hata kama ni kulipa watupatie muda tulipe polepole, na pia hiyo market price wanasema watuangalie sisi tuko na pesa tumejenga hapa, ni mama wetu zimesurround but hakuna kitu. So government ituangalie kwanza, sisi wenye wazazi wametuacha tuko hapo peke yetu. Sasa unashangaa tukitoka hapa tutaenda wapi?
All right, let's get to the newspapers and see what is making headlines. So I'll kick it off with the Standard. facing the empire's dark past. The Standard says facing the empire's dark past. Now, Britain's King Charles III, in his first visit to a Commonwealth country since assuming the throne, was confronted by his nation's dark colonial history on day one on his 4-day tour, rich in pomp and symbolism. So what you're seeing on top of the page is King Charles laying a wreath at the tomb of the unknown warrior at Uhuru Gardens in Nairobi. So the royal family is here, and you know, it has been quite a historic, or it is a historic moment, as this is the first trip that they are making to an African nation as well as to a Commonwealth country. And it is one way that, you know, he is confronted by the empire's dark past, because after all, Kenya was colonized by Britain. And so King Charles and Queen Camilla were welcomed at State House. And of course, the morning rain gave the royals an African welcome, capped with a 21-gun salute by the military, after a band had honored them with Britain's all-familiar anthem, God Save the King. A heavy early downpour had threatened to dampen the king's first visit to a Commonwealth nation. Not that, or a mishap by a woman soldier who almost tripped the king when she fell on the red carpet that could have ruined the occasion that everyone was witnessing. Now, the officers, or rather the elusive apology is what has been stated, that, you know, King Charles confronted with the empire's dark past, but he did not directly apologize to the atrocities that were put on Africans, or at least Kenyans, during the colonial period. Now, where thousands of Kenyans died in the bitter struggle, with the eternal flame burning a tomb of the unknown warrior, serving as a reminder of their unwavering patriotism. There have been calls for a formal apology by the British government for its many atrocities, which grew louder as the king's visit neared. Now, at a press briefing on Sunday, the Kenya Human Rights Commission demanded that the king apologizes for the sins of the colonial government. And on Monday, a group of Mau Mau victims were prevented from holding a briefing over similar demands. And the king did not speak to the press, not about the apology or about the matter. So it weighs heavy on a lot of Kenyans, but it was not, the apology is not here just yet, we could hope, because it's just day one, or you know, Tuesday was day one of the visit, and he'll be in the country for a 4-day state visit. So if you look at your newspapers, it's more of, you know, just the events of what happened yesterday. Queen Camilla with the First Lady, you know, who planted a tree at State House. The First Lady and Queen Camilla as well were at Eastlands Library, where they were meeting children there. You know, King Charles himself inspecting a guard of honor, the king and the queen, you know, greeting onlookers at Uhuru Garden. So it was various, you know, activities that were just happening if you look at the newspapers as well. And the Standard also has a headline on royal family's footprints at the coast as Charles and Camilla visit. Like I've stated, they're set to also head to Mombasa, where there are many footprints of their family in the coast region. Mombasa City played host to the late Queen Elizabeth II in 1963, and Queen Elizabeth II died in September 2022, and of course he's King Charles's mother. So Mombasa also quite a historic place for the duo to visit. So that is the headline on the Standard, facing the empire's dark past. Also, Standard talks about high cost of living as experts lay blame on the government over taxation. I'll be talking about that on the Star in just a bit. And also, Pastor Ezekiel Odero was set free after the DPP dropped charges on the Shakahola massacre, and there's no particular charge sheet that the DPP was able to come up with despite investigation. So Ezekiel Odera is a free man. Now to the Daily Nation, speaks on historic visit, royal tour, King Charles III and Queen Camilla hosted by President William Ruto on day one of the trip. Ties that bind. King Charles speaks of his family's and Britain's special connection to Kenya and roots for an even closer partnership of equals between the two nations. But the British monarch also wades into his country's wrongdoings of the past against Kenyans, promising to deepen his understanding of the wrongs as President William Ruto pushes for reparations. A story that is on page 2 and page 3 of The Nation. Also, you'll get quite a lot of pictures where the President and the Majesty led on a tour of the Mashujaa Museum in Uhuru Gardens in Lang'ata. There also pictures in State House, also pictures when King Charles visited a city shamba at the Mama Lucy Kibaki Hospital in Nairobi. So they did quite a lot on just day one of their visit. And King Charles III admits British atrocities but falls short of apologizing to Kenyans. So like I stated, no apology has come, a formal apology that you would hear it from the Majesty. And so it is expected that, there are so many issues will be addressed within these 3 days that are left, not just in terms of what happened in the past, but also what does the future hold, the partnerships, trade partnerships, perhaps much more to that as well. The Nation also speaks on Best of the Best Governors Performance Ranking, a story that is on page 12. Best of the Best Governors Performance Ranking. So I'll give you just a sneak peek of who are the top governors. George Natembeya of Trans Nzoia and Gladys Wanga of Homa Bay are the best performing governors at 70%, followed by Simon Kachapin of West Pokot at 67%, followed by Simba Arati of Kisii at 64%, Irungu Kang'ata, Jeremiah Lomorukai of Turkana, as well as Mutula Kilonzo, all at 64%. Then Wesley Rotich of Elgeyo Marakwet at 63%, Kawira Mwangaza of Meru, and Julius Malombe of Kitui at 63% as well. So that is a story that is on page 12 of the Daily Nation that just gives you a pic of the chronicles of progress, who is making progress, who is not. And so Natembeya, Wanga top of the pile in performance ranking. Some of the perhaps, other governors and how they've performed. At 56% is Uasin Gishu County Governor Jonathan B., Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja, Wilbur Otichili of Vihiga, as well as Fernandez Baraza of Kakamega. Kilifi Governor and Mombasa Governor Abdul Swamad Nasir Gideon Mungaro at 57%, even as Bungoma County Governor Kenneth Lusaka is at 58%. So those are the performance of the governors so far, so good. About 1 year and 2 months later down the office, what have they done? So about 58,000 people took stock of the poll that was conducted by Infotrack Survey Company, and it was spread across all the 47 county governments. As well, top of the page, candidates sit tests in hospital as exams draw to a close. Today is the final day of the examinations, both for the Kenya Primary School Examination Assessments, that's KPSEA, as well as KCPE examinations. Today is the final day. They'll be sitting for their social studies paper. Then finally to the Star newspaper, why Ruto taxes could be futile, wants controller of budget. Why Ruto taxes could be futile, wants controller of budget. Now there's a sharp surge in the cost of living that has been triggered mainly by the unprecedented fuel costs. And so the COB basically says, taxation or over-taxation is not exactly the solution, and this could be a ruinous situation where a lot of Kenyans will try to avoid paying taxes. So what are some of the taxes that have been introduced by the Kenya government since they took power? The 1.5% housing levy, which cuts across all pay slips, 16% on petroleum products. It was initially at 8%, so there was an 8% addition. The turnover tax on enterprises making gross sales of between 1 million and 5 million and 25 million shillings. Excise duty on gaming and betting as well. 5% withholding tax on local digital content, as well as pay-as-you-earn tax bands at 32.5% and 35%. That is for income earners between 500,000 and over 1 million Kenyan shillings. So, Controller of Budget says, well, we are looking at a situation where if you put more taxes, a lot of Kenyans will try to avoid paying those taxes, or at least it could be strenuous on the pay slips of the the people, not just civil servants, but across all sectors, and says that is not the way to go. Also, top of the page, pictures of King Charles' visit. This is a momentous occasion that is closely being monitored and followed across the world. So that is why it is also making to the Star newspaper, as well as high temperatures. Regional agency, 80% show of heavy rains this month. So the Met Department now says, well, you know what, you could actually be expecting rains, which have already started in some of the areas across the country in this new month of November. Initially, they said there was El Nino that would have run from October to January, but there's now a change of tune and says what we'll just see is the heavy rains, but no El Nino. And then on impeachment, Mwangaza to face plenary as Azimio and Kenya Kwanza differ. So there were two ways to go. One was the plenary committee, a committee that will have about 11 members who will be chosen to look into the issue. And then the other way would have been the whole House listening into the impeachment. But yesterday at the Senate, they voted on which way to go, to which majority said plenary way is the way to go. Now, last year when she was facing the first impeachment charge, it was also a plenary committee that listened into that, and they did not impeach her, says, you know, the grounds to which the MCS brought those motions was unsubstantiated. And so we'll be looking to see how that goes yet again, as the plenary is set to listen into the second trial of impeachment against the first female county governor of Meru, that is Kawira Mwangaza. So those are the headlines on the newspapers. Also a bit of sports. Lionel Messi, who bagged the record 8th Ballon d'Or award. And, you know, various opinions coming on whether he deserved it or not, but he was given the trophy regardless. So those are your headlines. Why Ruto taxes could be futile, wants control of budget on the Star. The Daily Nation speaks on historic visit, that is, of the royal family. And the Standard as well says facing the empire's dark past. So those are your headlines on the newspapers.
Hello, praise the Lord. My name is Pastor Joseph Musajawaza of Unfailing Love Ministries. I'm inviting you every Wednesday to join us on our program, Victory Through the Word. In this program, we teach you God's Word. We teach you to find solutions and answers to the struggles of life through the Word of God. Everything you ever go through in life, every pain, every tear, every worry, and every questions that you may ever have in this life. You may not get answers out there, but in God's Word, there are answers and there is a solution. The Bible says that God has exalted His Word above His name. In His Word, there is hope. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but His Word will always remain abide. I encourage you, engage with us as we study together, as you ask your questions, and let your questions be answered as you are built and as you hear God's Word. Our church is located in Umoja, Inako, near Olobon Hotel, just off Sango Stage along Moi Drive, and the court is known as Church Court. Give us a visit and your life will not remain the same. God bless you. Let's meet every Wednesday from 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. only on EBN television.
This is EBN TV, transforming your world.
From the oldies to the latest song, on the Request Hour show, we play you the songs that you request. Whether ni reggae, rising up to take their place. Whether ni hip hop, for God is no estimate. Whether ni worship, any song, any genre that you want to listen to, we play it here on the Request Hour show. Join me, Alice Jerry, on this Wednesday and every Wednesday and Friday, only on EBN TV from 5 to 6 p.m.
This is EBN TV, transforming your world.
Every Thursday from 8:30 p.m.
Listen, every man needs God. And every man needs to learn to humble himself before God.
Enjoy teachings from Pastor Chris Oyakilome.
Here's what the Lord is instructing you to do. Prepare yourself in the Word of God. Feed your faith. Prepare yourself in the Word.
Build your faith and get to know who you are in Christ Jesus.
Feed your faith. There's a spiritual attack of some kind through sickness. Build your faith strong.
Every Thursday from 8:30 p.m. on EBN TV, transforming your world. Every Saturday from 8:30 a.m.
But we should not be afraid to interpret Scripture.
Get to know the story behind the Bible. Why was it written? To whom was it written? And what was happening when it was written? Understand, get to know, learn how to properly interpret the scriptures so that you're not deceived.
In the book of Revelation, and we have started to enter into the happenings because these are things that are going to take place hereafter.
Join Pastor Felix Kavoy and his team as they go through the different books of the Bible and give you the theological interpretation of the same.
At the very introduction of the book of Revelation, the book lays clear what is contained in here.
Every Saturday from 8:30 a.m. on The Theology Show, only on EBN, transforming your world.
This is EBN TV, transforming your world.
You are watching EBN TV, transforming your world.
Right, welcome back and thank you for staying with us. You're watching Morning Live on this chilly new month of November. So before the break, I touched on land buying. We all have got dreams to, perhaps purchase land, whether in Nairobi, whether in Mombasa, wherever the place may be. But there are so many things that you need to understand about this whole process, because it's a process. It's not just a one-day job. You don't wake up in the morning, spot a particular land, head out with your cash or your installment and just say, oh, I'm going to purchase that and that's it. No, it's a whole process that requires a lot of knowledge, as well as, critical thinking, so that you don't find yourself in a situation where you're being evicted because land belongs to somebody else, or there's allegations that, you might have been conned some cash by brokers. So that is the reason why we're having this conversation this morning on what you need to know before you purchase land. Who better than, getting to understand this issue than a property investments company, or at least people that deal with properties across the world, just to be able to help us understand some of the basics of this issue. So let me introduce my guest quickly in studio, General Manager for Optiven Global Office, Joe Orlando. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you very much, Cynthia.
Yes.
My name is Joe Orlando, General Manager, Optiven Global Office, we usually say in Karen. Or Karen, based on where you come from.
Yeah.
And Optiven, that is part of the Optiven company, the real estate company that has been in business for over 24 years, settling Kenyans locally and abroad.
Over 24 years.
Over 20. We are actually 24 years last August.
Last August.
Yes.
So indeed, what better time to have this conversation than now? Because if you generally look at the headlines around us, it's on issues to do with land and evictions and demolitions that are currently ongoing, and it brings a lot of anxiety to anyone who is in the interest of buying land at this particular time.
Yes.
So perhaps to begin from the basics on just, how do people find themselves in this situation? What exactly causes this?
All right, thank you. I think first and foremost is just to, again, express our sympathy with the Kenyans that have been affected with some of these demolitions and displacement because of land issues, and especially children that maybe are affected during this exam period. You're asking, how does someone get there?
Yeah.
So a fact is that our population is growing, and there's high demand for land, especially for settlement, especially around our cities. The capital city being the leading one. There's a lot of rural-urban migration. Until our devolved units really settle in, people are still coming to the city to act for a living. And that has brought with it demand for settlement, demand for housing, and demand for where people can live. There are places in Nairobi we call the bedrooms of the city, the places around Nairobi. And therefore, the people that get caught up in this, honestly, some of them are just genuinely seeking to find a place they can put their family, they can put their dwelling. But behind it is sadly, usually, lack of due diligence before paying for land, lack of due diligence before committing your money to buy a property, and probably ignorance on what do you need to do to avoid getting in this situation. So that is part of it. The other one is when the deal is too good. We usually say when the deal is too good, pause and think twice. Because some of these areas where we have challenges, the deal was honestly too good to be true. But some people could not avoid to take the deal. Yeah.
So as we all understand it, it's a process. Buying land is a process. Like I mentioned, you don't just wake up in the morning, you've identified a piece of land in Karen, and you say, oh, now let me go, let me just know who deals with it, and then you purchase it. So it's a whole process, because you also have to go to the registrar, take a look at the lands registrar. So perhaps just from the start, Cynthia has identified a piece of land somewhere. What next?
All right. So if you have identified, there are two options. You could have identified land from an individual, which is sometimes highly risky. The risk is higher there. Or you have identified land from a selling company. It could be a group, it could be a SACCO, it could be a company like Optiven selling land. The first step, there are several steps you need to do. The first step is understand who is selling to you. And that's why I'm saying sometimes when you're buying from an individual, it might be the risk might be a little higher. But when you're buying from a company, there are legal processes you can check in terms of checking around this company.
So it's a question of credibility.
Credibility. I'll give you a good example.
Yeah.
Yesterday I had a mother and a son who came to my office in Karen because they wanted to buy land. But they told me that they have researched on us. They almost know Optiven better than I do.
Yeah.
Because we are credible, we are out there, we are online. You can Google our stories. And so the gentleman told me, I have read, I've studied, I've watched your videos, I've done so much. I've looked at the customer testimonials, and that's why we are here. So Atubatishi. Therefore, look out. This company that is selling you land, or this group or this consortium, number one, do they even have online presence? You know, sometimes you buy things from people that or organizations, you can't trace them online.
Ghosts.
It's just some air somewhere. You try to Google. Google does not hide a lot of stuff. If you are online and there's something about you, it will come out. But you simply can't find this group. The other thing that you need to do is, after knowing the business, I'll give you the same example that this gentleman and the mother did yesterday. Pay a visit to the office of the land selling company, because that will also give you some what you call double authentication, two-level authentication. What you've seen online. Yeah, you have seen online. So show up. Show up. I usually encourage customers to even show up in our properties without calling us. Just show up and go and see. You know, if you are driving into a property that has an issue, either someone will come and tell you, or someone will come to chase you away.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So I encourage customers, just drive. We have property in Nakuru. Just drive. It's all over online. You can get the map, the direction. Drive to that property without even telling us. But when you come to the office, it gives you credibility that, yes, I'm dealing with a company. When you step, for example, into Optiven, we have offices in Nairobi. Our head office is ABSA, second floor and 14th floor. That is ABSA Towers on Loiter Street. Or you come to Karen, Zamani Business Park, what we call the global office. You confirm there are human beings working here. You see they're branded. Someone has branded a whole office. I mean, for you to have branded that much, it means there is some even city council involvement. So that is a second level check. Show up. And then the other process is what maybe we'll discuss as we go along, is then how do you check the documentation for the property you want to buy? Because all land have documents that can be traced from the registry. And there's a process to do that. I go ahead with it? Thank you. So let me give you the process, typical process for Optiven customer, for example. So you have seen land, or you have had us, we a lot on TV, you are on online, we on billboards. So you have checked it out, you have showed up. Number one, ask for the map for the land.
The map for the land.
Yes. So we have a digital map, and there is the map that is given by the county or by the approving authority, by the land registry. Look through it and ascertain that what you are dealing with is registered. The land itself as a because that's a product. The product we sell is land. And people work so hard to get money that you don't want to throw it away. When you look at the map, it will show you what is supposed to be versus what is on the ground. Some people have bought land that when they go to the ground, there's no road. You can't access the piece of land you have bought. So you have to negotiate with your neighbor to sell to you road access.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and now you are trapped. You are landlocked. You have no road. So I will ask you whatever price I want. Because I know you're stuck. But there's no way. So that is one process. Now there's a legal process of what we call a search that you can do, especially if you're dealing with a company that you're not so sure of their credibility. I know I was dealing with a customer who told me their lawyer told them, if it is Optiven, I don't want to eat your money. The land is okay. Yeah, but if it is not Optiven, we will do the whole process. But even for Optiven, still go through the process for your comfort. We still have customers who say, no, give me the document, I want to do a search. We know there is no problem, but it's your right to search. And that is one of the things we usually tell customers. When you are buying, one of the red flags to look out for, and I'll be mentioning some of them as we go along, is how easy is it to be given documentation for you to do a search? If you are being taken around in corners, there's a problem.
There's a problem.
So that legal search is done by lawyers, but even an individual can go to search, but the lawyers are better placed. They're called conveyance lawyers. They help you through the process. They'll tell you their fee, and they will get for you a search, and the search will come back with evidence of where is the land, what is the number for the land, who owns the land, and who has owned it before. It comes with the whole history.
A whole history.
Yeah, you know, originally all land was with government, then they came being passed down, and people are given leases and all that, and people buy and sell until you know you can track. Even getting you to know, is that land currently charged by a bank? Because land is an asset that people use to get loans. So I could be selling you land, but the same land is not mine. Once I charge it with a bank for a loan, it's now co-owned, so I'm not the absolute owner at that point. So that all that will come with the search, including, is there any lien or anything we call a charge on the land, or what the lawyers would call encumbrances, anything that would deter you from clear ownership of that property. So that is a critical process for someone to go through, especially if you're not so sure of the business you're dealing with.
Now, you've spoken about conveyors, lawyers. I'm interested to know, at what point do they come in? At what point do you now start dealing with the lawyers and whoever you're buying that land from?
All right. So you start dealing with the lawyer once you have identified the land you want to buy. Interestingly, we also buy land, Optiven. We don't manufacture land. So we also buy land. So even for us, before we commit money, because for us we'll be committing a bigger amount of money than you, an individual, Cynthia, who is coming to buy an eighth or an acre. But I'm paying for the whole parcel of 100 acres. So where do you bring in the lawyer? You bring in the lawyer before you commit to the land. So the lawyer does for you the search. The lawyer also helps you to go through what we call a sale agreement, which is a legal document. And the lawyer is the one who is even going to execute for you that document, so that that sale agreement is a legal engagement between you and the seller. So right from the word go, it's never too early to involve your lawyer that have I found a land. You know, in Africa, we are not good with keeping lawyers. We don't have personal lawyers. You go to fill documents and ask who is your lawyer, or doctors. We don't. But the lawyers are available, and when you want to buy land, it's possible to get a good lawyer. Even in church, I think every single church has a lawyer. God has blessed us. So someone can direct you to, Humphrey is a lawyer, they can help you through the process. They will help you look through the documents, the ones you got from the seller. They'll help you lodge a search. They'll help you interpret the search results. And then they will help you through your, what you call your sale agreement process. So never too early to involve your lawyer. Yes.
All right. Now, I'll still speak on the documentation, because that is the whole reason for all the headlines you're seeing. Someone says, but I have the title deed. Somebody else says, no, you see, whoever sold that particular piece of land to you was not credible enough. So it all falls down to the documentation, because we also have scenarios where people do get fake title deeds. You're buying a piece of land through perhaps a circle, through an investments company or through a property company, and then you get that fake documentation at the end of the day. So how critical is that documentation part? I know you've talked about the mapping, and you need to also have a history, but just contextualize it of just how important it is. Very important.
Thank you. So it's unfortunate, and this unfortunate bit comes because we have rogues. Every market is a madman. So we have rogues that are trying to make quick money out of the ignorance of people. Title deeds, all land have authentic title deeds. But in the process of trying to make money, some rogues would come up and then probably collude with relevant, again, rogue, because even in the ministry, there are honest people, but there are also people who want to make quick money. So the process of verifying that is where your lawyer comes in. If you really go through a search process and you really go through the documentation with a lawyer, at least to some reasonable percentage, you are covered. Some of the things that have been happening, and I don't want to talk about them because I don't have the details about the Mavoko issue, but one of the questions that people kept asking was there any lawyer involved? And the answer was no. So at that point, you become a bit exposed when you just go on your own. Sometimes the cost, it could be 20,000, 25,000. You think that is too much to pay a lawyer to do for you due diligence. In the long time, it costs you your life savings. Because if someone talked to a legitimate lawyer, they would tell you, Apana, this land as an issue. Because these guys have visibility of all legal issues. They will tell you if it is land, they will go and check and tell you, hapa kuna case iko pending. So don't commit your money, or this one is clean.
Yeah.
So I think the titles are genuine, but in between here, sometimes there are people, and one of the acid tests, if you want to check before you commit money, is the first question I talked about: who is selling? Because you could be dealing with people that have, number one, political inclination. That is a big risk. People who you can't account for who they are. People who don't want you to meet them in an office. You are closing deals kwa mkahawa, mahali.
In restaurants.
And then you never meet them again. That becomes a problem. Or an office that, I've come to EBN and I'm like, wow, I told him this is a complex. That already gives me some credibility. But you find someone selling you land worth 2 million, but where they have set up office to sell to you is not commensurate with the business they claim to be doing. That's a red flag. And that has happened to Optiven. Yeah, we have also suffered as a company when we were starting out 24 years ago. And my CEO, George Ashuri, was starting the business after working for a number of years and saving money, 5 million.
Just to start off.
To start off. And he was desirous to do land selling business. And he walked into an office downtown and found 2 gentlemen who were selling land. He was naive then, 24 years ago, of course. Technology was not there, you could not search, you could not do anything. And these guys were very sweet-mouthed and encouraged him. And he paid the full amount. So that's another thing you check about. Before you pay, check properly. He paid the full amount, and he went to possess his new land to subdivide and sell it. And my God, he was chased away. He came back to the office. In 1 week's time, it was non-existent. And the people operating there don't remember anybody selling land before. And for 24 years, he has never met those 2 gentlemen. And 5 million ilikunywa maji. He has written a story about it. I'll show our viewers a few books. So this is called Soaring Like an Eagle by George Washuri. The first book, the story is inside there of what almost brought him down. So from that actually is why we have put in our processes as Optiven. Because when Mr. Washuri came back and he said, I want to go back to sell land again.
He had learned his lesson.
He learned his lesson, and he wanted to right the wrongs. And that's why Optiven for 24 years, no one has lost money. Because we go learning the loopholes, and we go learning what we could do. Of course, later on we suffered another partnership issue that we'll talk about if time allows. That also will help our viewers. But when you are buying, even the office setup should tell you, hapa kuna shida. Yes.
So there's a question on just I'd call it third parties, because it's me who's purchasing and then who I'm purchasing the land from. But there's always also the third party that includes the SACCOs and property companies or investment companies. And there's always the question on why would people prefer to go through these third parties, or why is it a better option to go through the third parties before you purchase a particular land rather than just dealing it one-on-one? Because if you look at just the growth of companies like Optiven, a lot of people would prefer to do that. Why is that the case?
Very good. If I speak for Optiven, the reason why people would come to us, because where we sell land, we are not a monopoly. There are also land available, individuals selling and all that. Number one is what I talked about. They know if Optiven has put billions in this land, they must have done their due diligence. And honestly, Cynthia, we do. Because we are also buyers. And our risk is bigger. So some of the processes we go through before we say this land is now open for sale, it can take even 6 months. We would go to the ground, we do our chiniamaji checks, talk to the village, talk to sometimes you go to the extreme of even talking to that person that does not look like they know anything in the village, but ataropoka akwambie, hiyo shamba unataka? Hiyo ni live wire, don't touch. So we do have lawyers who will also help us with the background check. But what we do is we do thorough background check. So that's why you'll find before you buy land, you want to be comfortable dealing with a registered company, because you know they have done the due diligence. I'm not saying all companies are good, but to a greater degree, you'll find like Optiven, if we have committed money, and we also don't have all the money to buy the land, we also have a bank involved. The bank lawyers also do double check on the property. So you realize that you have several levels of assurance when you're dealing with a registered land company like Optiven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd love us to take a quick breather, but when you come back now, we want to zero it down to Optiven and what you do,
awesome,
and some of the deals that I've taken a look at on your social media
wow,
platform. So when we come back, that is the conversation we'll be having. So send us your feedback from wherever you're watching us from, on your thoughts about this, and just the process that Orlando has been able to explain of what you need to know, or at least what you need to do, who are the people that you need to involve in before you buy that particular land in Karen, as he says it. So that conversation continues after the break. Stay with us.
You are watching EBN TV, transforming your world.
From the oldies to the latest song, on the Request Hour show, we play you the songs that you request. Whether ni reggae, rising up to take their place, whether ni hip hop, for God is no estimate, whether ni worship, any song, any genre that you want to listen to, we play it here on the Request Hour show. Join me, Alice Jerry, on this Wednesday and every Wednesday and Friday, only on EBN TV from 5 to 6 p.m.
Walisema mnywa maji kwa mkono mmoja,
kiu yake ipale pale, ndiposa tumekuletea wewe mtazamaji wetu
mkono mwingine ili kukata kiu yako na ari yako ya ufahamu.
Naam, ngoma imechezwa mtazamaji, basi hatuna budi kulisakata na kukuletea wewe ufahamu wa kaunti yako,
tukiangazia masuala ya siasa na uongozi,
jamii na itikadi,
maendeleo na changamoto katika kaunti yako. Ungana nami Belinda William,
nami Emmanuel Marwa,
kwenye makala ya Gatuzi Langu kila siku ya Jumatatu saa 5:30 hadi saa 6:30.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. You're watching Morning Live. The conversation continues on what you need to know before you purchase that piece of land that you are planning on doing. So my guest is still in studio, Joe Orlando, who is the General Manager for Optiven Global Office. Optiven is a property investments company. I'm sure you've come across it, whether on billboards, whether on advertisements as well on social media and on your TV. So let's now talk about Optiven. 24 years in service. How has the growth been like?
Amazing. Thank you, Cynthia. That's a good question. So Optiven has grown in what we would say in leaps and bounds, from a small outfit of pretty much less than 20 people to now a big organization that we now have even that word global with us. For 24 years, we have settled over 10,000 Kenyans who have gotten their title deeds, both Kenyans here and Kenyans in diaspora. Our operation is such that we not only sell to Kenyans in Kenya, with growth and with the demand that is growing, we have spread our tentacles across the globe. I'll talk about that shortly. So where did Optiven begin? We began as a small outfit downtown doing business. Our first land was in Kitengela, and over the time, we are now having properties for sale in over 20 counties in the country. So Kenyans have choice of where to buy the land. Today we are occupying a number of offices. Our head office or the main office, we don't like calling it office because we are one team only in different locations, is Absa Plaza. In Absa Plaza, we are occupying 3 floors. We are on 2nd floor, which has a mezzanine, and we are on 14th floor. Almost over 300, 400 people sitting in Absa and serving Kenyans.
Yeah.
Then we have the global office in Karen, where I sit, that serves also customers, especially through the diaspora customers. We are over almost 100 people sitting there. That is because the number one vision of our founder and CEO, George Washuri, is not to make money, but to create opportunities. Actually, our number one goal is to create 30,000 jobs by the year 2030. We are drawing closer to that, but it's possible. So because of that, Optiven has also diversified into other business units. We do have actually our hospitality wing that is very, very vibrant. If you are in Kitengela or you have been in Kitengela and you have gone to a place called GMC Fun Place, that's a strategic business unit of Optiven. If you have come to Keren and enjoyed some ribs at the spa, at the hub, that is part of our business unit. If you come to the waterfront, we have GMC Waterfront. We also have Optiven Homes that is primarily set up to build for our customers. The journey has been that we have been selling land, we have been issuing title deeds, and then Kenyans say, I now want to construct, especially those who are out of the country. How do I start, and who do you recommend to be a good contractor? Someone is in Australia and is asking, recommend for me a contractor in Kenya. We know also the challenges with construction in Kenya. So we as a business made a decision to set up Optiven Homes that will help you to build. So we discuss with you building plans. It's a complete company with experts, engineers, and everyone, architects that you need to build. So that's what Optiven has grown into today, to a company that is serving locally and abroad. We actually do have our teams out there. Almost every month we have teams. Right now, I have a team in South Africa, meeting Kenyans in South Africa. I have a team that came back yesterday from Uganda. I have a team that is coming back today from Ghana. I have a team that is in Qatar. My team leader is coming back, I think today or tomorrow, from the USA, but was there with a team of 4. There's a team going to UK next week, and we have strategically mapped out the market. Anywhere there is a Kenyan, we are able to reach them. And if you are locally and you need to reach us, I think I can also give the numbers we go along. 0790 300 300. I know people have come to know that number because we are very vocal about it on our TV adverts and billboards. Just call 0790 300 300. You can get. But even if you can't call, that number is also on WhatsApp. So if you save that number on WhatsApp, it's a WhatsApp bot. We call it Amani wa Optiven. And you just say hi to 0790 300 300 on WhatsApp. You get a whole catalog, a whole communication. You can actually do your whole process with Optiven on that bot. You get a map, you get a video tour of the property you have selected, you can see your plot you want to buy, you can send yourself what we call an offer letter. So you only come now to sign a sale agreement. So the journey of Optiven has been exciting. We are still moving on to creating 30,000 jobs, and we want to settle 1 million Kenyans by the year 2030. And we want to be in 21 African countries by the year 2040. Right. We are actually opening up in Uganda probably by the first quarter of the new year.
Yeah. So we'll speak on the diaspora plan in just a bit, but I'd love to take you back a bit to the Optiven Homes that you've just mentioned.
Yes.
And you know, this is such an opportunity because it's one thing to purchase land, but then it's another thing to start actually construction. And there can be so many headaches from contractors, you know, buy this, you didn't buy this, and that. So why would you encourage people to choose you for the Optiven Homes plan when they want to start construction?
Perfect. So we set up Optiven Homes, and actually people are choosing us because of the experience they have had with Optiven Real Estate, where they have seen our honesty. You know, actually the creation of Optiven Homes was a demand from customers. We have trusted you.
Yeah.
Now I want to build.
So the demand is high.
And then we said, wait a minute. If we recommend and the business goes bad, we are the ones who have recommended. And why did we say that? We have gone through that journey. There's the latest book by George Washuri. This is called After the Plunge. We launched it 2 months ago.
Yeah.
This book primarily talks about partnership that Optiven got into, and we suffered almost closed our business because of a rogue partner that came with an idea to just steal money from us. It's in the open. If you Google it, you can get the story. But get this book and read about After the Plunge, which is about the shock of partnerships and the mercy of God that God restored us.
Yeah.
Do you know in this process, if I just give us a synopsis, this is a story of we were selling land and we had good customers who believed in us and they bought land with us. Then there was a craze for greenhouses. There was a season there was a craze for greenhouses. The way sometimes we have quails and all this. Kenyans, we move in those waves. And someone came with a very good business proposal that looked very good for our customers, and we introduced them to our customers. And our customers paid directly to them for the greenhouses. They paid for land, they paid for greenhouses. But we didn't know the person, the intention was just to get money and disappear. Do you know our customers lost almost 200 million? And what has made Optiven stand strong today is because we took the worst decision anyone can take, but it was the best for us. We borrowed 200 million and refunded customers for money we did not touch. That is a testimony that when people hear about Optiven, it stamps our honesty. And good thing is, almost 91% of those customers, when they saw that we are refunding them money that they did not pay to us, but because of our name. In my culture, we say, Mutu anakola na jina. Because of our name, we took that business decision. 91% of them used the money to buy land with us again. Of course, there are those who said, I've suffered, it was painful, I don't want anything, give me my cash, sitaki. And we also settled them. So also get this book. If you call 0790 300 300, you can also order the book and we'll advise you on how it can be delivered. Thank you.
All right, so now let's come to the diaspora plan. I can imagine the challenges with that because you're not dealing with people who can physically come to your offices.
Our office, yes.
In Nairobi, so they do everything online, talk to Amani online,
yes.
Just to understand more, and the phone calls. So the birth of diaspora is not such a bad idea because even the government itself has got also diaspora Kenyans who are working on just paying taxes and all that from other countries.
Yes.
What's the biggest challenge with the diaspora plan?
Thank you. So, just like you have said, the product being bought is land. That land is in Kenya.
Yeah.
But you are in
Australia.
Boston, you are in London, you are in Qatar, whatever it is, working so hard, 3 jobs to get money to buy the land. Of course, that is the challenge number one. But we have ways of which we have helped our customers with that challenge. Number one, the reason why today Optiven is the most trusted global diaspora real estate, any survey done, and we have gotten awards for that, is because we are very relational. So when we come to visit, it number one gives the assurance that this land is okay. Then when we go to visit, one of the sweet cases that we pack is title deeds. So you could be far, but we give you the comfort of still getting your title deed. If you have completed payment, we deliver the title deed on location, we dance, we celebrate, and we just rejoice. But there are steps. Number one, your relationship officer becomes now your person here, who can help you, guide you. We do video calls. Can you imagine, Cynthia? You go to a place like Ocean View Ridge, Vipingo, and we'll talk about our properties in Vipingo. Beautiful place. And you are in Australia, I do a video call with you. You can see, I can verify, I go to your beacon, I tell you, this is beacon number 35, the one you have bought, and you can see it. Also, Kenyans in diaspora do send people they trust. We have site visits to these places. So if you want to buy land in Nanyuki, every Saturday we go there, we take you, you see, and then you can call and tell your contact, I've seen the land, it is good. But be sure you are sending someone you trust. We have a story of someone who was interested in buying our land in Success Gardens off Thika Road. It's a beautiful place. But the person they said, aye, this place is a bush, nothing good can come out of here.
Yeah.
Because when we buy those pieces of land, they are bushes. But Optiven is about transformation. So the way we transform, if I take you, and maybe God willing, I should take you to Amani Ridge, for example, just here in Tatu City. And I show you the pictures of what it was when we went to just dedicate, to pray that we want to sell it. And what it is now with Cabro Roads. This customer when they came to Kenya, they regretted. Because they did get the correct information. But we encourage customers in diaspora, send someone you trust, wakuone. But there are those who don't even send. But what has happened is whenever our customer in diaspora comes to Kenya and they tell us they're around, we prioritize to take them to see the site. So even if it is not a Saturday, sometimes they come, they say, I'm here for 2 days, it's a Tuesday, I must go to Nanyuki, I must go to Nakuru. We will make way to take them. 100% of our diaspora customers, when they come and see the land, they have accepted it. But even Kenyans, we have been selling Ocean View Ridge Vipingo to people in Nairobi. They had not seen it. So last month, we had 2 plane trips. We put the customers in batches of 2020 tukajaza ndege tukaenda kuona. They were seeing the land for the first time. Na wamemaliza kulipa. Do you know people were saying, what you showed us was an understatement. Yeah. Do you still have pieces of land here? I want to add. And people were adding on the spot. So send someone you trust. Your marketer sends you videos. We also go and share a lot. We are very relational. And that gives the customers the assurance that if I come to Kenya or when I come to Kenya, I know where to go. Yeah. The challenge is if you buy land, you're in diaspora, and when you come, you don't know where to start. Then it's somewhere you can't even reach. There's no plan. There's no process. That becomes a challenge. Optiven, we have a process, and we are in communication with our diaspora customers. We have a whole diaspora segment that serves the customers, updates them. We are now doing water. Like now we are doing water in one of our properties called Wema Gardens in Naromoro. We send you the update, the videos. We are on site. We also do a lot of Facebook Live. And most of the people who join the Facebook Live are Kenyans in diaspora. Yeah. Because they want to see, and we update them. Now we are doing the roads in Ushiti Gardens in Nakuru. We are now doing solar street lighting, and you see work is actually going on. Yeah. So we merge the videos, we do the updates and the visits. Yeah. And then the person you can send to see for you, and when you come, we take you to see your land, and you are happy.
Would you be able to perhaps quantify how many Kenyans in diaspora are dealing with Optiven at the moment?
Pretty much, I would say about 42% of our customer base is diaspora. Yeah. And this year alone, we have been to about 70 cities of the world, including Africa. Because Africa is also a sleeping giant that people don't know. That's why this week we have people in South Africa for a whole month. We have had people in Ghana. So we have been to about 70 cities of the world this year. Wow. And we're still going because the year is still young. We still have 2 months to go. Today is November. Yeah.
Incredible. Now, there's a different aspect that I also love to hear from you on the revolutionizing of, just how we purchase land. And I can see that, Optiven has got an app, Shamba Mkononi, that was launched back in 2019, which basically changes the whole setup of, I don't necessarily also have to to be in and out of the places that I'm looking for land. I could just, look it from the app, spot it, and just come to and say, this is what I want. So how incredible has this app been for the company?
Thank you. Yeah, that app answers to one of our values. And companies put values out there. We are this, integrity, what, just to fill a wall. We have only 4 values. And one of them is honesty. We are customer obsessed. And we are a company that is innovative. So innovation is a key pillar for Optiven. And Shamba Mkononi was an app, but we have since really promoted more of the bot because it's more intuitive, more user-friendly, and you feel like you're talking to someone on the bot. But when we launched Shamba Mkononi and the time we have used it, it's still in use, a few people use it, but most of our customers have actually moved to the bot. Because then even WhatsApp was not so known as it is now. Digitization has really helped us because the bot is able to give you much more information and much more response. You make a selection, you select what you want, you get a video, you get a map, you get offer letter. It's intuitive. Kenyans, we like typing. When you see typing, you feel happy someone is responding. And that is it. But we are still enhancing our digital space to make sure that we even can get into 3D, 7D, to enhance the question you are asking about the virtual tours of the land, so that you can have a virtual tour and see the land that you want to buy. Yes.
All right, so there's a question here that has come in that I'd love you to respond to.
Yes.
Humphrey Onyala says, I've got a question. What are the process of getting titles from a family or an inherited land which even doesn't have an actual measurement and that it had never had a title before?
Thank you. Thank you, Humphrey, for your question. That is a question in the heart of many of us, because most of the places tunaishi ushago hakuna title. And they were ancestral, and people just lived and lived and lived. The first step is to get a government surveyor, because the government surveyor will now help you to know your boundaries. Some of the boundaries we have in our family land have been passed down to us. People have encroached, people have done. So get a surveyor. They will charge you anything between 7,000 to 14,000 based on where you are. The surveyor will come with the original map of that area. All land exists in the ministry. All the land have maps and measurements. But kwa ground, things are different. Tumelimalima mpaka barabara, nini njia. So once you do your survey, then the surveyor will help you with the proper measurement of your land. Then you have now to go to the ministry and start what you call a registration process to get your title deed. It's a process that now you need a lawyer at that point to help you start the journey. Some of the land we have in the villages, even the first title, you see there was a time President Uhuru, the former president, was giving out a lot of titles. Those titles may not even be existing. But if it exists, then now you can get what you call a subtitle for your piece, because some of them are big. It was for one man who had 10 wives. So in the registry is one title. But now it has since been subdivided. Yeah. Therefore now you go through a process called succession in the Ministry of Land. That succession, registration of succession, and then with the survey report and with the lawyer's support, you now apply for the title. It might take time based on what exists and what does not exist, but eventually you will get your title.
Yeah. Great. So earlier on you mentioned so far the company has been able to spread its wing to across 21 counties in Kenya, if I'm not wrong. And you've brought out such a key issue of those people that are in the rural areas or ruko mashambani. Yeah. And so I'm imagining somebody from my village in Bungoma, if they want to get services from Optiven, how do they go about it?
Very good. So maybe they want services because they want to buy land in Bungoma. Yeah. If it's a county where, like right now, Bungoma, we don't have land that we are selling. But where we are existing, the process is very simple. Even if you are not in Nairobi, just make a call. When you make a call, we will assign you a relationship officer that will then call you back. So you call 0790 300 300. When you call that number, or even if you chat with the bot, someone will get back to you. And when they get back to you, they will start from inquiring, what is your need? Where do you want to buy land? And we present to you what is available. If you are on WhatsApp, we are able to send to you our catalog. We are able to send to you some videos, some links of our properties. And then based on where you are, let's say you are in Bungoma, but okay, we don't have land in Bungoma. We have land in Kisumu you want to buy. Or you want to come buy in Nakuru. Or you are from Bungoma, but you're in Nairobi, you want to buy land around here. Then now after we present you the land we have and discuss your budget, discuss with you what is your interest, we organize what we call a site visit, which is very critical. Yeah. So you now go and see, because I'll tell you this one is available, number 21 is available, but you need to go and see it. So we'll organize a site visit. For people in Nairobi who want to go out to see, let's say, for now, Nanyuki or Nakuru, we ask you to pay 2,000 shillings. Why do we ask you to pay 2,000 shillings? We again learn. Life is a learning process. We used to advertise. We are very much online. Say we have site visit. We are going to Nanyuki. Absa 7 a.m. Basi meja. Tunaanza safari. Tukifika Madhai hapo bio break. People don't come back to the bus. So they were going home. Walikuwa naenda Ushago. So you are left with half the bus. You call people, their phones are off. So what we said is, we don't want to carry also jokers that are just going for a tour. Land business is a serious business.
It's a serious business.
So you pay 2,000 if it is out of Nairobi. Within Nairobi, you don't pay. When you pay that 2,000 and we go to Nakuru, Ushindi Gardens in Nakuru, where we are currently selling at 950,000 for a beautiful eighth of an acre with all value additions. Roads are done, solar street lighting, electricity on site. We are going to do water, fencing, gate, caretaker. That's a very important thing that people don't know. People buy land, bundles. There's no one looking after your land. All the beacons are gone. You go back, you can't even know where it is, or someone has even built on your land unknowingly. What was jengewa kwa plot yao? Because there's no one to show someone. When you come back, you spend so much money to trace your land, look for surveyor, and do the beacons again. When we go, Ushindi Gardens, all those value additions for only 950,000, and you arrive there, and you see a property, and you like it, and you book it. That 2,000 you paid for transport, we receipt it as part of your payment for your land. But if you go, you see, but you have not conquered, it's logistical cost. Hata tutakupatia maji njiani, so at least tumeenda tumeona. But if you buy, we appreciate you back. Hiyo 2,000 tunakurudishia kama part of your payment. Na unapata official receipt for the 2,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so let's also talk about the payment plan.
Payment plan.
Yeah, just a general, because I can imagine there are different pieces of land at different values, but just on the payment plan, you know, how many months of installments, you know, is somebody, can somebody pay for that particular of land? Is it a one-time payment? So if you speak on the payment plan.
Payment plan. Thank you very much. So the payment starts this way. So once you have identified the land, you can either book or reserve the land before or reserve after you are on site. The people who say, let me reserve, especially now, we have projects that are getting completed. So if you see and you like, just pay something small. For today, because I'm here and I can give an offer, that if you call 0790-300-300 and say, umesikia offer kutoka kwa General Manager, EBN TV, you can book for as little as 10,000. Lipa to 10,000 when you identify a property. So that's the first payment you make to Optiven. Once you pay that, either on site or before you go, then before you make any other payment, we will give you an offer letter. These are very important steps that someone should go through. You start having a documented trail of your dealings with Optiven. You pay money without documented trail. Like some of these places we are having problems, people, there was an advert, come with evidence that you bought land. People didn't have evidence. You lost your phone. There is no receipt. There is nothing. How do we help you? So offer letter is the first step of your footprint evidence that you are dealing with Optiven. It's a digital thing. We send you, you fill it, send it back online. 5 minutes, you're done with it. Once we receive that offer letter that you have sent back to us, we then now have your official names to receipt the 10,000. We will give you a receipt, or the 50,000 or whatever you paid. Then in that offer letter, you tell us what is your option for payment. Now, these are the options. Option number 1 is cash payment. Cash payment is, I want to pay the whole amount of 950,000 for Ushindi Gardens in one off. So now I'd already done 10,000, so I'll pay 940,000. And I will pay it within 30 days. Ideally, it should be 7 days, but we accept up to 30 days. That is called a cash payment. So you pay the full amount in one lump sum. That is cash payment. But we also have installment. Installment payment, we say, on top of what you did to reserve, pay what we call a deposit. What you paid as 10,000 or 50,000 to reserve is not a deposit. You are reserving, because in our system, we actually have an app where you go, and when you pay, you see as that land just leaves the portal. We have a portal. We can even show you. Kisha lipa unana, tunaingiza hii M-Pesa hivi, we refresh, that land is removed from the, it's like a product in the shelf. Once the payment is keyed in, the system intelligently removes it from the shelf. Why? Sometimes when we go for site visits, umependa hiyo land, amependa, uko na marketa wako, ako na marketa wake, you are discussing kila mtu na mtu wake, nataka hii, haya, lipa. If you don't reserve, itaenda. So you reserve. That is reservation, but it's part of your land purchase price. Then now you do a deposit. We usually say do 30% deposit of the value. So if it's 950, just do the 30% of the 950. That is what we call your deposit. The balance you pay in installments. It can be 3 months, 6 months. Some properties we have 12 months. Some, like the one in Vipingo, we have allowed up to 15 months of installment.
Yeah.
But it's good to tell our viewers that the installment comes at an interest rate of only 1% per month. That is like 12% per annum. It's negligible. We'll calculate it for you. It's negligible. It allows you to pay. But if you don't want to pay interest, then just pay upfront. You can also get financing. Maybe your SACCO or the bank. We have banks that we work with If you want bank financing, we can tell you this bank A, bank B, bank C, you can give you a loan to buy Optiven property. And when they give you the loan, then that of course becomes like a cash payment. The reason why some people would go for a bank is because then some will give you like 60 months. So your payment is lower per month, and your pay slip remains neat and tidy on their third rule and such like things. So that is an option. So we have the option of cash, we have the option of installment, we have the option of bank financing with the banks that we have agreements with that can finance you. Or your own bank, they can give you money, you pay us based on what their process are.
All right, so because we're out of time, perhaps as we wind it up, I am aware that you have been a victim of you know, almost being conned because of land. So as we wind up, perhaps you know, you should now speak directly to the people on just maybe I repeat for those that are just joining us on just how key it is to do your due diligence and to follow the due process of even having lawyers or you know, credible you know, circles or credible property companies that can work with you throughout the journey.
Thank you very much. Sasa niangalie kamera vizuri na ni address the nation.
Yeah.
Hallelujah. So I want to say this. Money is hard to come by, and you want to spend it and not lose it. And land investment is a very necessary investment today, because when all is said and done, we leave EBN, we leave Optiven, you want to go back to our home. You want to go back to our house. And people invest for different reasons. You invest to put your family there. You invest to build a property there for commercial use. We have such properties. Or you want to invest because you are buying this land to sell it later. You need to be sure your money is safe. Due diligence, and especially checking who you are dealing with, especially the company that you are dealing with, is very important. If you want to deal with us, and we welcome you to Optiven, please check us out. Like I was giving an example of a customer who came yesterday and said, I have checked you out and that's why I've come. Check us out online, ask for the reviews. Customers don't lie, they will tell you what they have gone through. Then make a point of visiting the office. Don't close your deals kwa mkahawa. Tembelea ofisi ya mwenye anakuuzia shamba. Get to know where they operate from. Get to know who is behind this company and what is their testimony around here. We come to you, especially as Christians, because I know this is a Christian station. We are committed to serve our customers with ethos and Christian values. And I want to encourage you, if you're out there, today just call 0790-300-300 and start your journey with Optiven. And I want to give an offer for someone who is going to book a plot today, just for today. If you book a plot for today, just say you are booked through EBN, and I will organize to get you a copy of Mr. George Wachuri's book, Soaring Like an Eagle, which tells his story from a dry place in Kieni to the businessman he is today, and the pains of the first loss of 5 million, and the family values that has kept Mr. Wachuri going. Soaring Like an Eagle is a book you want to buy. This book, if you buy it, is 1,500, but I will be giving it to you if you book any property because you have seen us on EBN. We also have the secret code of Optiven. We call it the secret code because in Optiven we say success must be copyable. If you are successful and we can't trace your steps of how you reach there, there's a problem. Mr. Wachuri has put, and there are many people who they don't have, they disappear, they reappear with a lot of money, but you don't know what happened. Mr. Wachuri has put the secret of success of Optiven in, Unleash Your Full Potential. This is a book we also use as a manual for what we call the George Wachuri School of Mentorship, where he mentors entrepreneurs. This one also you can get it if you call 0790-300-300. And then the final book is After the Plunge, the story of a business partnership that almost eradicated Optiven. But we were restored by the grace of God, and today our customers are grateful that we did what we did. This one is also available if you call 0790-300-300. But anyone who books a property today, in my capacity as a general manager, Optiven Global Office, I'll make sure you get this complimentary copy and you read the story of Mr. George Wachuri. Thank you so much, Cynthia.
All right, thank you so much, Joe Alando, the General Manager for Optiven Global Office. Optiven is a property investment company. You can always go and just, they say, do more research.
Yeah. I want to say something about the books that is important to say. That these books, 100% of the sales goes to Optiven Foundation. Optiven Foundation is our philanthropy wing. We keep children in school. We are currently taking care of hundreds of children in high school and TVET. We pay their school fees. We keep girls in school. We provide them sanitary pads. We build houses. I know you did your research. You must have seen Mama Leshao. Just Google Mama Leshao and see what did Optiven do to Mama Leshao. We gave her land. It was a very dire need that we got from one of our friends, Lynn Gugi, in our prime property called Garden of Joy. And we built for her a house. Total of about 8 million spent by Optiven and our partners to settle Mama Leshao. That comes through Optiven Foundation. So when you buy a book, you are keeping a child in school, you are housing an old person, the forgotten citizens. We do food distribution across the counties. We do medical camps through Optiven Foundation. So you can also be a partner. And when you do that, God will bless you.
All right, we're giving back to the society.
We give back to the society. It's now one of our secrets in this book. If you don't give back to society, you are closing your blessings. Because when you give to the poor, you lend to God, and God owes no man.
Thank you so much, Joe Orlando, for coming in. So perhaps take home is before you purchase that land, you need to understand who is selling, the credibility of whoever is selling that land to you. Also, pay a visit. Site visiting is very important. It's not just about hearing there's a particular land somewhere, but actually going to confirm that piece of land that you are interested in, and then the documentation of property, which is such a critical process, a mapping of the land, the history of the land, the number of the land, who owned that land previously, who own that lands now. So it's such a critical step that you need to follow so as to avoid the scenario that we've been witnessing lately just across various parts of the country over evictions and demolitions as well. So that has been the conversation this morning, what you need to know about buying land, as well as why you should choose Optiven. If you've missed this broadcast, you can rewatch it on our social media platforms on EBN TV and engage with us throughout the day for any questions or feedback, and we'll be able to get or reach out to Joe for you. So have a blessed morning. My name is Cynthia Nanjala. Do enjoy the rest of your day.